Hello, hello.
I just want to say hello, hello, hello. We have Dr. Constance Foreman here with us today, and I am thrilled beyond thrilled because she is a doctor, baby. And, and she's gonna share a perspective, rather a different perspective than we're used to because love has a lot more to do with the body than we think.
For sure.
Ooh, so let me tell you a little bit about her. Her topic today is dating your healthiest self, building love from the inside out. Ooh, that's a sexy topic.
Yes.
I like it. I like it. And Dr. Constance was raised in Prince George County. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Prince George's County.
Okay, Prince George's County, Maryland, with her loving parents and younger brother. She spent her childhood years going to 4 H camp, playing tennis, and cultivating her interest in the sciences before earning her Bachelor of Arts degree in biology at St. Mary's College of Maryland in
That's right.
St. Mary's City,
Mhm.
Maryland. Following undergraduate school, Dr. Foreman took time off oh, to serve with AmeriCorps Vista, Volunteers in Service to America, before earning her Master of Medical Science degree from Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia. Okay, you ready for this? I was raised in Hampton, Virginia.
Oh, wow.
Very familiar with Hampton University.
Yes, yes.
Okay, used to be Hampton Institute.
That's right.
All right now, okay, okay, okay. All right, she received her Doctor of Medicine degree and completed her residency in family medicine at Eastern Virginia Medical School, Norfolk, Virginia. And I went to Norfolk State University.
Wow. Small world, right?
We all hooked up, Dr. Constance.
Yes.
Okay, and she has held various leadership positions over the years, but is most proud of commissioning in the United States Navy Reserve. Okay, so you ready for this? I am an Army veteran.
Oh, we have a lot of parallels.
Yes, we do. So Dr. Constance works full time seeing patients in Wilmington, North Carolina. I had to say it again. Wilmington, North Carolina.
Not to be confused with Wilmington, Delaware.
I used to be where I lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Okay, here we
Okay.
go.
Not too far.
Uh-uh. But understands that the health of an individual extends beyond the walls of a clinic or hospital, and she has founded Beyond Clinics Walls Wellness, a speaking and health education business with the purpose of reminding people that with practical and sustainable lifestyle changes, we can all be healthy.
Yes.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I love it. So,
Yes, yes, yes.
we're going to have a rich conversation.
I think so.
Yes, and my first question is this: how have you taken your expertise as a physician and applied it to relationship advice?
Yes, and that's a phenomenal question. And what makes this talk so unique is that, as you mentioned, sometimes we need a fresh perspective when we're trying to work towards any goal, whether it's a relationship goal, a health goal, a professional goal. And when working in medicine, you can imagine you talk to so many people, various walks of life, ages and stages of life, literally every day. So I might have days where I have a 6-year-old and a 90-year-old all in the same day. and you learn so much from the different perspectives that people bring to the table living all across the country. And so, on top of that, you're also seeing people when they're at their most vulnerable. So, not only are people sharing what's medically happening to them because health is a holistic process, they're also sharing emotional struggles, mental struggles. And so, even in family medicine, you don't have to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist to help people with mental health concerns and emotional concerns. So I'm often supporting people through those things. And would you believe it? Relationship stuff comes up too, right? So sometimes people are literally asking for advice or even giving advice because thinking about my own relationship, when I first started practicing medicine, finishing residency 7 years ago, I was completely single, dating, trying to figure it out. And then in these last 3 years, I've been engaged, now married, had my first child. So just goes to show how quickly life can change, and all of the people along the way have contributed and offered their insight. But then also through my business, Beyond Clinic Walls Wellness, I created my flagship workshop, which is called the Health Makeover. And
Oh,
in the health makeover, there are four pillars that I focus on. The first is reconnecting with yourself. When it comes to health, that's all about being more intuitive, thinking about how you feel, the goals that you want to accomplish, and utilizing that as the framework for your next step. I felt like such a good parallel with relationships, right? When you know yourself the best, that's going to be the foundation for healthy love. So you have to first focus on self-love before you're able to fully open up yourself to someone else. And
wow.
then the second pillar is curating success. And in my workshop, the focus is on understanding that knowledge is power. That transcends any conversation you have. The more you know, the better you'll be able to tackle the problem because you have the intuition of how you feel, but then the gain experience that knowledge provides for you. Then we have eating to live. So of course, when it comes to health, I'm talking about the duality of food. So it needs to be functional and fuel your body, but you also want fulfillment from what you eat, right? So both enjoyment and functionality is what I like to think about. When it comes to relationships, it's all about nourishing your love in an intentional way, right? So what types of connections are you cultivating? What types of people are you surrounding yourself? And how does all of that contribute to a successful, healthy relationship? And then the final piece of it is it's a twofold piece. I sometimes say finding your tribe, but part of that is staying on track. So to stay on track, we need to build community. And so again, that lends to the nourishment. You want to make sure that you're around people that are going to breathe life into what it is that you're doing, people that mirror the types of relationship you want, eliminating some of the relationships you don't want,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the full picture. So reconnecting with yourself and creating the foundation for healthy love, curating for curating success, so setting yourself up for dating wins, eating to live, so nourishing your love intentionally, and then finding your tribe, so building connection and support that's going to platform you for healthy love.
Oh, that's strong. That's strong. Okay. So why is knowing your valuables, I mean your values, excuse me, and non-negotiables so important before you get into a relationship?
Right, so this would fall into the curating success piece of the conversation. And so, since I'm a medical doctor, I like to, utilize that to help people understand. And often when I'm working with patients and clients, you use different analogies and metaphors to make the connection. When it comes to understanding your values, this isn't a hard analogy to understand, but think about the lab values that you get when you go to the medical doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell my patients, give me at least once a year, right? So that I can do screening tests and look at things that we can map out and prepare for the future, right? Things might look good now, but there might be some subtle abnormalities that we need to keep an eye on, things that we might need to make some adjustments so that it sets you up to prevent illness in the future. And there might need to be some things that we intervene on now to prevent you from having setbacks, right? So, when it comes to cultivating relationships, and certainly this goes for romantic relationships, platonic relationships, familial relationships, the more you understand what's important to you, and
Mm-hmm.
what you're working with, what's currently on the table, the better off you are to be able to have meaningful conversations, to know how to better set boundaries, to know what you might need from other people to help you be successful. And so, without the foundation of understanding your values, because remember, to understand your values, you would have had to already do the hard work of reconnecting with yourself, right? So you're taking that time, and so, hint, hint, wink, wink. Sometimes it means right now might not be the time for a relationship, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you cannot successfully get through the reconnection part, the success part might not be as easy. But again, foundation, 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 understanding what not only what you want, but what you need in a relationship is going to be very important to have a successful, especially if you're looking for a long-term relationship. Those values have to connect, and, just to, share a personal story, even because although am not the age demographic for what this summit is all about, I learned so much again from all of the patients that I encounter and clients that I encounter, and they've helped me so much. And part of that is also having an open mind. So when it was that I met my now husband, we met on a website,
Oh.
but how we knew that we were going to work well together is once we started talking, we had a very similar upbringing. And so, sometimes people say opposites attract and all of that, but I've seen for longevity that synergy is important. And so, ironically, we were both raised by single mothers that got remarried,
Mm.
um, and we both had large families almost to the T. My husband's family, mother is one of eight. My mom is one of nine.
Oh,
And so just having those parallels and understanding the dynamics of each other's family members, we were able to easily weave in, versus if at least if you don't understand those things, it can be difficult. At least understanding, even if someone is different or has a different background, you have that security in understanding and being able to find those connections when necessary so that you and whatever partnership you're trying to create can have a common ground.
oh, that's good. That's good. So, how do you define success in a romantic relationship? And how can connection seeking singles my age create their own definition?
I love this question too because I think questions like this are so simple that they're difficult.
Mm,
Right? Because the truth of the matter is that success is, and the idea of success and the definition of success is going to vary from person to person and even from season to season, right? So, um, again, when you think about the framework, that is exactly why it's important to have that inner connection and making sure that you're understanding yourself. But I would say generally success is going to be related to making sure that you get all of your needs and some of your wants when you're in a partnership with someone. So certainly everything you want won't happen. And I know in my generation, and I'm sure it is in yours as well, we always used to create these lists, right? I want these things, and certainly it's okay to have desires, but we have to have our non-negotiables and then our wants, right? So maybe for one person it's religion. The person has to be have the same religious background or at least be God-fearing or have some sort of a spiritual connection or routine that they follow. And that
mm,
might be a non-negotiable. So I know, for example, if you are waking up every Sunday to get ready to go to church or every Saturday to go to your religious institution and your partner is laying in the bed and when you want to pray or read the Bible or again, whatever institution you follow, they never want to participate. It may work in the short term, but if you aren't both on the same page with what that means for your relationship, it's going to go south very quickly, right? Because that's an important part of who you are, and you would not only want but often need your partner to tap into that with you because I know for me, my partner and I, we pray together every night.
mm,
And that's a part of our routine that keeps us grounded. It keeps us hopeful. When we're sad, it helps bring us back and grounds us. And, without it, we wouldn't be as successful. So for me, I knew that that was a need, not a want. So once you can outline what your needs are and what your wants are, if that person is able to hit the mark for all of the needs, because I think you need all of your needs. If it's a need for you, you just need it, right? And then some of your wants. But then also, we have to be willing to take a step back and say, is this really a need? Like, we don't need him to be 6'6", right? But we might need him to have income coming
yeah.
into the household, right? So, and maybe not. If you're Beyonce, maybe you don't need that. I don't, it just all depends, right?
That is cute. If you're Beyonce, that is true, though. That's true. Yes. So, okay. So you are this wonderful doctor, and I think I would love to be your patient, but you're too far away. So doctors often talk about nourishment in physical health. How does that concept apply to dating and relationships?
Yeah, so this is where we get to the eating to live portion, right? So when we're talking about physical health and the duality of our food, it's all about again that fulfillment but also the function. We want to make sure that whatever it is that we're putting into our bodies, that not only is it helping us to execute all of the bodily functions that we need to, but not negatively impacting those functions. And so a good way to think about it when it comes to nourishing your relationships is sometimes we have to go on a diet.
Hmm.
So, in general, I'm not the biggest fan of strict diets because it's difficult to maintain them, right? But I think it's fairly straightforward to sort of think about the connection there. If a person has a challenge with their blood pressure and their blood pressure is too high, then certainly they want to avoid high sodium foods. They want to make sure that they're not eating out as often, and that when they do, that they're making sound decisions and not overdoing it when it comes to fat, especially fried foods, right? Not doing a lot of beef, not doing a lot of pork, right? If it were diabetes, we're talking about carbohydrates. So not just the things that we know are sweet, like cakes and sodas and pasta, but also other things, right? So understanding that condiments are going to have sugar in them. Fruit juice is good, but a cup of juice and how much goes into that might not be the best for our blood sugar, right? So in those instances, we're not necessarily depriving ourselves, but we're being very intentional about the choices that we make because we have a goal, right? Our goal is to make sure our blood pressure stays normal or that our blood sugar stays normal, and for some people, for cholesterol. So when you want love in your life, you don't want to overindulge in negativity. You don't want to overindulge in people that are taking you off your path. And for example, having some of these less balanced behaviors. If you care, which I'm sure most of us do, although it's difficult, but if you are working towards your overall health and someone is a smoker, that might not be nourishing for you in this season in your life. So a lot of it is taking a look at the bigger picture of what you want to accomplish, utilizing the needs that you have in your relationship as well as the wants, and making sure that the people that you're dating fit that and nourish that they're going to again breathe life into that. And then another layer of that as well is kind of approaching dating in a different way. Oftentimes we go out to eat. And it doesn't always have to be that. And especially for um older adults, in some ways you've been there, done that, right? You've had these, long drawn out dates where you're getting primed and you're going out, but it could be something casual. Hey, I'm in the area, let's go for a walk. Meet me at the coffee shop at this corner and let's walk to the next destination. And if you enjoy the time enough, maybe you do have a meal, after that, but kind of setting that your dates don't always have to be surrounding food. So
Good.
active dates are nice. Line dancing, for example, is very popular right now. Meet up and go line dancing. Go try a new gym out together. Go on Groupon and find something that you can do. Um Treat each other to, I mean, I don't typically like to talk during a massage, but maybe a pedicure. Go get a pedicure together. Men do that these days also. So maybe they should do it more. I need to tell my husband that. But still, there's so many different options for spending time with someone that doesn't have to be centered around food. So that's another part of the nourishment conversation.
Well, that's good. And I like the fact that you gave options because a walk in the park or maybe going somewhere and playing ping pong or
Yes.
tennis or bowling, those are
Bowling is a great one.
yeah, those are all things that people love to do, or even cards. I love spades, sitting down playing spades or Jim
Yes,
Rummy or something like that. That's
anything. Pickleball is popular here. I'm not sure if it is where you are. I think about people like to play Pacino.
yes.
That's something that you can kind of multitask a little bit. You don't want to miss your stuff. But same with bingo, Pacino, playing cards. And could you imagine having a first date and your date is your spades partner in the banter? and that you can develop through that
Yeah.
process and developing that chemistry and the playfulness. And I think in this season, I would say probably for anyone over 30, if you can't just have a chill conversation with someone, it's not going to be worth it. You want to of course see this person at their best, but you want to see them in a real moment, and doing casual things like playing cards or going for a walk is the opportunity to see someone with their guards down a little bit. They're not thinking about putting their napkin on their lap and trying to tip the waiter or waitress. It's all just focused on the two of you creating that bond and developing that positive energy.
Oh, that is good. So, why does community matter when we're talking about dating and relationships?
I believe that community is so important because it's also providing a place to receive that nourishment.
Mhm.
So places in our community, like our churches. Now, once upon a time, people would say, go to church, you're gonna find yourself a good man or a good woman. And I don't know so much about that in the modern world, but what
Mm,
I do know is that the family that you develop outside of your blood family is going to help hold you accountable. They're going to sometimes see things that you don't see, not
mm,
just in the partners that you're dating, but in yourself. They're going to challenge you to be your best, not only for yourself, but for the other people you're around, including a romantic relationship. And that also expands the places that you and your partner can grow together. So it's in the community that you get to learn each other. So, your spades group that you meet up with or your Pekino group is going to say, yeah, Sharon, I think that's a good guy. He gave me some good vibes. Or they might say, I don't know, we might need to have him come to the table a few more times before we can really make a good verdict. But without that community, you're kind of only I wouldn't say blind per se, but you
mm.
don't have as much perspective as you would if you were tapping into your community, able to provide additional insight.
So that's really good. I'm thinking about in the community I live in, they play dominoes. They
Mm-hmm.
talk a lot of mess.
Yes. Exactly.
They talk a lot of mess. So do you have any closing thoughts? This has been eye-opening, and you've given us alternatives and reasons to stay healthy so that we can bring our best possible self to the dating experience. But you're the doctor, Dr. Constance. What else you got to say?
I would say no matter what season you are in your dating journey, the more you focus on yourself, the better prepared you'll be to allow someone to enter your life. So, no matter the stage or age, we are able to show up better for other people when we take care of ourselves. And this statement is used often during health conversations, but it's the same for relationships. Think about going on a plane ride, and at the beginning, when they're doing the safety protocols, they tell you if you are with someone and there's an emergency, you put your face mask on first, and then you help the person next to you, right? If you pass out because you're fumbling around with the next person's face mask, then both of you are out of luck,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
But also, the more we take care of ourselves now, the more time we have to enjoy a romantic relationship. I joke with my husband. I say it's important. We're I'm 39, he's 47, so he's a little older than me, and we just had a baby. We want to be here to see her grow up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and truth be told, you're not sure exactly how and if people will support you during certain times of your life. So you want to come ready and prepared and um and just able to put your best foot forward. And lastly, I would say just have fun. I know it's so cliche, but I found that I experienced a breakthrough when I really figured out who I was in this world and then what I was and wasn't gonna put up with. And most people would say they'd rather be happy and alone than miserable in a relationship. So the more you focus on yourself, the more you're going to attract those people and make those sound decisions, especially for longevity. And then, the sky is the limit to what God will allow to enter your life if you first open yourself to the process and to what it can be.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Dr.
You're
Constance.
welcome. It was fantastic speaking with you. I hope you all listening take some of the pointers. I'm telling you, and this is an aside, and this is, I'm sure other people have tapped into this conversation. It doesn't exactly fit my topic, but I'm just putting it out there. Ladies, it's a new day. Don't be scared to put yourself out there and be the aggressor. That is, I think, one thing that helped me in my relationship as well. Everyone's a little bit different, and if you have the confidence, that's going to also help attract your partner. So whichever, type of relationship you're in, it's okay if you're not following those traditional models, I guess is the basic thing to that. We could have a whole nother conversation about that, like candid conversations of dating and, trying to get away from the norms. But if someone hasn't talked about that yet, Miss Sharon, I think that's a phenomenal topic.
I agree. And we'll have to make sure we put it in our how can I say it, in our agenda or on our
Yes, you should.
speaking topic list, because that is a very important thing to talk about nowadays,
Yes.
especially. So I hope you are enjoying your weather, because I'm enjoying our weather here in hot Houston.
It is
Now,
cold and rainy here today in Wilmington, unfortunately, but we'll take it. It's okay.
okay. Well, Dr. Constance, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And I just want to say you helped us to look at the total individual, not just physical, mental, or emotional, but the total individual. And for that, we're very grateful.
You're
And we
welcome.
just hope you just have a wonderful time in 2026.
Yes.
Well, viewers, this is Dr. Constance, and isn't she a jewel? We want to encourage you to support her. There's a video that you saw at the beginning, and it'll also be at the end, so you can reach out to her because I can imagine she is an excellent doctor, and you can already tell that she cares. Well, we have other folks coming up. We're almost at the end of the summit, but there's a few more people, including yours truly.
All right now.
Yes, and I'm going to be talking about your love story, creating your love story. But again, Dr. Constance, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
And viewers, I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. And I'll see you soon.
Bye.